Ave Maria, welcome back to No Apologies. We continue talking about Old Testament types of Our Lady, and today we're going to discuss Mary as the new Queen Mother. In the Old Testament, it was not the wives of the kings who were considered the queens. It was the mothers of the kings who were given the official title, the Queen Mother. And if you looked in the first book of Kings in chapter 2, you see highlighted how it is the Queen Mother who sits closest to the king and who has the greatest influence over him. And you see how much respect and honor that the king showed towards his Queen Mother. Now in that chapter we read about a man named Adonijah, and he approaches Bathsheba, who is the mother of King Solomon, and he asks her, "Would you please intercede to the king on my behalf that I would be given permission to marry a certain woman who was in the service of the king?" Now Bathsheba, not realizing that behind that request was a plot to overthrow the king, consented and promised to speak to the king on his behalf. And this is what happens. So Bathsheba went to King Solomon to speak to him on behalf of Adonijah. And the king rose to meet her and bowed down to her. Then he sat on his throne and had a seat brought for the king's mother. Then she said, "I have one small request to make of you. Do not refuse me." And the king said to her, "Make your request, my mother, for I will not refuse you." So we see that the Queen Mother is seated in the place of honor and can speak freely with the king, and that the king reassures her that he will listen to her requests. And so it is with our Lord and with Our Lady. So our Lord in his humanity descended from the kings of Judah, and now established as the King of Kings forever, has also established Mary as his Queen Mother. So he has seated her at his right, and he says to her, "Make your request, my mother, for I will not refuse you anything." Now, in the story of Bathsheba and King Solomon, because Bathsheba was being deceived and because King Solomon saw the treachery of his enemy, that particular request wasn't granted. But it's not so with Mary, who only would make those requests and ask those intercessions for those things which are for the greatest glory of God. We recall that it was at her request at the wedding of Cana that our Lord worked his first miracle. And so it is now, as she is in heaven forever in the presence of her Son, that she continues to fulfill her role as the Queen Mother by interceding on our behalf to the King. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again soon. Ave Maria.